from the runner and couch always shows me how little I actually knew about these classic RPGs, and I can't wait to see all of the exciting ways my introduction to the Final Fantasy series is broken. I've got $150 from Reverend Bob, who says, Final Fantasy IV is my favorite Final Fantasy hands down. Reverend Bob, I kind of agree with you. I remember poring over the Nintendo Power for this game on the bus home from school. I lost my father to cancer. He and I would play games together when I was young, and now I play with my children. Anything to help keep families playing together is worth it. Donation to Announcer's Choice. Thanks very much. All right. We've got $25 from Vendetta and Duck Valentine. What an incredible run. I started Final Fantasy IV on the GBA years ago, but never finished. Rivers got farther in half an hour than I did in weeks. Keep going, we believe in you, and save the baby Yoshis. And hey, Brosentia, when a mother cow gives birth, does she become decaffeinated? I've got $512 from Care Yggdrasil, who says, GDQs are the highlight of my year. Keep fighting the good fight. All right, you guys, with that, it is the end of my shift here at the hosting station. I will be turning it over to Prolix next in just a moment, but we are going to play a quick Twitch ad break, and we'll be right back with you. Stay with us. All right, there's all kinds of moving and shaking, hustling and bustling going on in the AGDQ room here. I wish you could see it. On that note, while we're breaking things down and setting things up, we are going to run some very important ads from our sponsors and be right back with you. Hang tight, you guys. We've got plenty of amazing stuff coming up. We will be right back. From PCs to arcades and consoles old and new, World 9 Gaming aims to provide the highest quality video gaming experiences to events in the Midwest and beyond. With our dedicated staff, tournament expertise, and expansive collection of games and consoles, World 9 is ready to take your event to the next level. For information on booking and upcoming events, check world9gaming.com. MagFest holds gaming events year-round with the flagship event every winter in Washington, D.C. MagFest holds video game concerts all over the USA and the world. Their flagship event pulls in 20,000 people for 4 days of nonstop gaming and music. MagFest is bringing MagWest back to Santa Clara coming in summer 2018. More info can be found at magfest.org. Tokyo Attack specializes in bringing rare import Japanese games to conventions and events all across the country, featuring titles such as U-Beat, My, Project Diva Future Tone, and much, much more. They host America's largest collection of independently owned import arcade cabinets. They are currently sponsoring the AGDQ 2018 Arcade Room, and it's awesome. They've got over 70 import Japanese arcade cabinets and are the largest provider of import arcades at 30 and do 36 events a year. Find them on the web at tokyoattack.net. Congratulations, you made it through the ad break, folks, and the interview is coming up soon. I'm going to turn it over to Prolix now, and I'll see you guys later. This has been eMister. Thanks so much.
That threw like a solid second before I was ready. Hi, my name's Proto Magical Girl. I'm here with the runners of our Super Mario World No Cape, No Star World race. Next to me, I have Sten, BJW, Silver Star, and Calco. How are all you gents doing tonight?
Doing great.
Great.
Doing
Great,
amazing.
even though you have to play Super Mario World.
Yeah, people make mistakes.
I've lost control of my life.
It happens. So, I think the first question I want to ask, we talked about this like all the way at the beginning of the week with the pre-show, how, Super Mario World is regarded as like the game where you fly over everything with the cape, but how No Cape really, it completely changes that, obviously. And in No Cape, I feel like there's more of an emphasis on level-to-level strats, where you really like this level you do this level you do this. So what I'm kind of curious about, in kind of a broad regard, is what kind of stuff are you doing to do No Cape fast, and what are your favorite levels?
Well, with cape to go fast, you're rhythmically tapping back, right? With no cape, you're just holding right. So that's what we're doing to just go fast.
Holding right, you heard it here
stages.
first.
Just jumping, hold right, hold run.
Occasionally there are rooms where you have to go left, so we
Wait,
do that.
really?
Yeah, there's
There's at least one of those in this run.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the raw skill of these runners, they can go right and go left.
There's some levels you climb up, so you go up, but you don't have to hold up.
In fact, there's one room where you fall down as well.
I am absolutely blown away. Calco and Silver Star, do you have anything to add?
The best levels are the ones where you don't have to hold right the entire way through. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like the climb when you have to climb the level.
All right, well, there you have it. Calco likes it. Calco, I actually want to ask you, you were in Wednesday night's, I believe Wednesday night, Yoshi's Island race. I'm curious what's it like, coming all the way here from pretty far away to do these two primetime races. Like, you've done it once, you're doing it again. Is it easier this time? Is it just as scary?
I think for me this category is the easier one because I have been playing this for too long time, and this was my first experience ever. So I'm pretty happy and confident because I could play two of my favorite games here, like ever.
Okay, so I'm going to move on now to some social media questions. We sent out a tweet. Y'all responded with more tweets. Isn't social media wonderful? So the first question we have here is from Quizzical1. What is the hardest level to pull off without a cape, and how do you work around the obstacles?
Donut Plains 3. Easily.
I'd say Chocolate Secret, just because Chucks with their football kicking is the most impossible thing in the world.
Yeah.
I have to say Wendy's Castle.
I think it's Ludwig's Castle. It's the hardest to do it, like optimal. Like really optimal.
Yeah, a good variety of stuff for sure. I mean, I think one of the most interesting things about No Cape, I already kind of mentioned the like level-to-level aspect. I feel like it doesn't have nearly as many like lulls or easy sections as, the Cape categories. You really have to be like into it the whole time. Every other level is some crazy hard trick. Okay, so let's move on to our next question from Desu, who asks, can you guys even deal without using a cape?
No.
It's impossible. I'm just going to forfeit halfway through, not finishing this run.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Calco is confident. He's riding the wave from Wednesday. He is all over this. Next up, we have a question from the one and only Skybills. Approximately how many miles did you all travel combined to get here? And I know we have like two pretty far international travelers here, so I think this is a really interesting question.
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't answer this. Kilometers are clearly the superior unit. I don't understand miles at all.
All right, Mr. Sten, then how many kilometers did you travel to get here?
I don't remember.
Calco?
I come from a country that is summer right now, so that can explain to you, like, really far.
Fair enough. You two, anything to add?
3,000 miles for me, California. So
From Florida, however far that is.
You'd think for a bunch of speedrunners whose game has this really intricate world map, they'd be a little better at geography, but hey, okay. Moving on to our next question from Philippe Ho. I have a feeling someone's going to beat me to the punch, but I have to ask, if you could be your favorite Koopa boss for one day, who would it be and why is it not Iggy?
Oh, it's always Larry. Larry Cooper, best Cooper.
I'm going to have to go with my boy Morton.
Roy, of course.
Roy's our boy.
Ludwig. Yeah.
Wow, the people out there really like Ludwig, huh? Looks like Calco just earned some brownie points with the crowd. Okay, let's do, I guess one more question here from Suncare. What's your favorite enemy name?
Are we going English or Japanese here?
Either,
Because,
anything goes.
I mean, if we're talking Japanese, Fugamanen is a strong contender.
Atomic Telesa.
Ooh.
Mine must be Fugamanen as well.
And Guru Guru.
A man of few words and many button presses, Calco is. Okay, so I want to talk about some prizes that we have tonight. As you can see, this table is just littered with prizes. It's the final night. I'm trying not to cry thinking about that, but it is. We have a ton of stuff, a ton of things happening tonight, and all these amazing things you can donate for. I can't even go through a name. There's tons of games, books, figures, there's a steering wheel of some variety, hurlers, a SNES classic, this absolutely incredible statue with a very adorable thing that I think is a dog on top. No, I think it's a cat, actually, looking at the camera. All sorts of stuff, t-shirts, you name it. If you can name it, it's probably on this table, and you can probably give us money in exchange for a chance to possibly win it. And while you're donating your money, we're coming up on the end of the marathon, as I said. There aren't a ton of incentives left. You know, I was getting ready to bump the Super Dram World incentive, because $125,000 is no joke, but y'all got that done before this interview even started, so I'm out on that one. I will say, though, there's still some money left for the bonus TaskBot run incentive, and, you know, if the TaskBot block yesterday wasn't convincing enough, then allow me to convince you. Please let my husband get another run in. Thank you. How about, are there any incentives and stuff that y'all would like to push while people are bidding on these awesome prizes?
So it's very important to me that the Breath of the Wild horse be named Yobby. This is incredibly important. It must happen.
I agree.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Well, there you have it, a unanimous agreement for the horse to be named Yobby. So once that task block gets met, you know what to do with your money as we keep climbing towards $2 million going to be raised for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. I know we can get there. Speaking of getting there now, going to throw it back to the front in a second here for The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past randomizer race. I'm so excited for this. Randomizer has been huge in the speedrunning community recently, and we're finally bringing it to this amazing stage. And the transition I was going to do before I started talking about how cool video games are was something about them needing to find the way to get there, just like we're going to get more money raised for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So my name is Proto Magical Girl, here with your Super Mario World No Cape, No Star runners, who you will see after this Link to the Past randomizer run. Going to throw it back up to the front now to get ready for ALttP.
Oh, yeah, you can hear that crowd. I know it. Thank you so much, Proto, and to our SMW runners. I am Prolix. I'll be here with you for the next run. You know it, you love it. It's The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Randomizer. The logic is no glitches. It's open mode, and also, thanks to your donations, it will be swordless. Ran by Andy and ChristosOwen. Also, if you have no idea what I meant by swordless or open mode or that the logic said no glitches, don't worry about it, because along with Andy and ChristosOwen, we'll have the wonderful commentators Willard J. Bradley and VTorp guiding you the entire way. So if you say, hey, I've never seen a randomizer at all, never mind, Link to the Past rando, what do I need to know? Willard J. Bradley and VTorp will be guiding you through that. Also, on the item trackers, we'll have In the Name of DT and Filion. And again, if you're saying to yourself, what do the item trackers do? Don't worry about it. Our commentators will have you covered. I'll leave that to them to explain it to you a bit later. In the meantime, let me read some of your donations here. We've got some coming in referring to a lot of the upcoming incentives. Thuox donated $500 and simply said, Tazbot Hoip! Thank you, Thuox. I believe that's the first hype donation I've been able to read this marathon, so I appreciate the opportunity. And speaking of the Tazbot showcase of Super Dram World 2 has been met. So we will be seeing that later on this evening. And if I may say, I have seen that Taz run before, back when Dwango AC was taking feedback on what Tazbot might do at this event. It is fantastic. It will be well worth your donations. But yes, just because that incentive is met, don't forget to continue giving. We've got a lot of things still open out there. You heard in the interview, the Breath of the Wild horse name bid war is still going. That's going to be a great one. We've got Yabi, which was one of the runner's choices, will be, is it about 7th place? So that needs some help. And then we need, my personal choice would be My Dude, which is in 2nd place right now. So if you wanna help out, donate toward My Dude. Why not? Here is a $50 donation from Nizumi regarding the randomizer coming up here. Shout out from a game developer. I've been looking forward to the Link to the Past randomizer race all week. I'll donate another $25 for each runner that gets Sriracha's green pendant item, and $25 for each runner that does first Aghanim fight. I'll also donate another $100 if the seed requires the pedestal item. Nice, Nizumi. Thank you so much. And just so you are aware, I've heard the runners will not be able to hear me, so they don't know that your bonus incentive ideas are in place. So that'll be a little extra fun. But yeah, feel free to donate if any of those things come true. Thank you so much. Also got $200 from Roy, who says, here's to a great cause. Thank you, Roy. Yuli with a $150 donation says, always try to watch as much of GDQ as I can live. I am always floored by how much skill and knowledge is displayed by the runners and the couch. Keep up the great work, and let's do what we can to help stop cancer. Thank you, Yuli, for your generosity. And the next upcoming bid war that we'll be closing out, of course, relates to our randomizer run. It's to open that final chest or not. Do we validate the run or not? I believe the audience wants to save the frames. Is that right? Yeah. And just for those watching again who might not be in on the old joke and who want it to die, the run will not actually be invalid if they don't open it. I feel it has to be said because we've got a lot of uninitiated out there who will be seeing Randomizer for the first time, and we don't want any confusion. Let's see, Mr. Spills here donated $100 earlier tonight and said, going towards the Dram 2 run, come on, it's for the people. Mr. Spills, you got your wish. Congratulations. I have a donation in the amount of $1,600 here. And that is from Germ. Germ left no comment with that, but we thank you so much for helping out the Prevent Cancer Foundation to the tune of $1,600. That's fantastic. You know, I've been here hosting all week long, opened up the marathon, saw our donation total start creeping up. The next time I came back, it was Tuesday evening, we were already over $300,000, and now here I am, blown past $1.5 million. The pacing is just incredible, and we thank you so much for all the money you've given. BNE with a $40 donation said, save the baby Yoshis. Best of luck to Grand Pooh Bear. Snow Rook donated $200 and said, been watching all week. Keep up the great runs for a good cause. As a reminder, when you go to GamesDoneQuick.com and donate through our website to support the Prevent Cancer Foundation, you may be eligible to win a number of prizes. The official rules are on the website. Right now, there are just a metric ton of prizes available to win. So when you donate, just check the dollar amount required to make an entry in for the contest, and you'll be entered to win all the prizes that you're eligible for based on the amount of your donation. Beanopolis donated $150 and said, great event as always. Many thanks to the runners and those behind the scenes. And speaking of, those behind the scenes are still busily working to get our link to the past randomizer run ready for you all. So stay tuned, and that will begin shortly. Che with a $200 donation says, I can't believe how generous everyone has been. Let's keep going strong to the end. Thank you, Che. Yeah, hey, the evidence is right there. Proof's in the pudding. It's in front of our eyes. People have been this generous, raising over $1.5 million through the week. It's fantastic, and we can keep going. I believe we're closing in on breaking the next record, which was SGDQ a couple of years ago. If I saw that going, it'll be across your screen in a moment here. Molly Wop Goat with a $32 donation said, so awesome to see we hit $1.5 million. But that doesn't mean we can stop there. Keep it going, everyone. Also, super excited for the Super Dram World 2 run. For the people! Hashtag Team Save the Yoshis. Oh, let's check in on that. Currently, Save the Yoshis is in the lead. All right, and before I send it back to the main stage, just had one very special donation to read out for you all. That's in the amount of $1,359.90. And it comes from the Pug Farm and the Numpties. And it says, thank you, AGDQ, for bringing together a love that spans, or hovers, an ocean. A love that shows the world how pure it can really be. Thank you for letting the Andy and ChristosOwen US-UK Zelda rivalry continue. Love, the Pug Farm Numpty Alliance. And with that, we will be sending it to the main stage and a set of interviews here to introduce the race. It's the time you've all been waiting for. Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past Randomizer, beginning now.
Hello, AGDQ! My name is Willard J. Bradley, and I, along with Vitorp and Patty, will be your couch commentators for tonight. And we have something extra special for you guys. We got a Link to the Past randomizer, and thank you. And we got one of the members of our development team going to explain a little bit. What is a randomizer, Vitorp?
So a randomizer is, very simply put, the Legend of Zelda that you already know and love, with all the items placed in new and different places. So you have to go through the game and try to figure out a new way to get through it and route on the fly on how you're going to finish the game.
Well, that sounds exciting to me. So our two runners tonight, ChristosOwen and Andy, are going to be flowing through the game, trying to find whatever they can and trying to beat each other. The first person to kill Ganon and get in that Triforce room wins. And of course, we will be having an on-screen tracker that will be displaying what our runners are collecting as they go. So shout outs to our trackers tonight in the name of DT and Phylon. Let's go. And of course, one last thing we should definitely point out is that our runners can't.
They won't be able to hear us, so all the crap that I talk about Andy, he's going to have no idea. It's going to be good.
So I guess, unless our players are readied up, let's get this thing started.
Absolutely.
All right, we're doing a countdown.
All right. In
5,
4, 3, 2, 1, go! So something special about this mode is it's also known as open mode, where the uncle is already basically dead and Zelda is saved.
And it looks like our runners are going to be starting off with a map check. That's important. That was a real quick. One of the parts about the game is, you have to find the 7 crystals in order to get into G Tower to kill Aghanim 2 and kill Ganon, and we saw at least 2 in the light world, as far as I know.
Absolutely. We also have both of our players doing the exact same beginning strat, where they're picking up a sign and going to check on our uncle, who is just staying dead in that dark cave by the castle.
He doesn't even talk to you. He just hands you an item. And, normally you would pick up a sword, but today we're going to get a bomb capacity upgrade. About how many of those are there in the game?
There are 6 plus 5 bomb capacity upgrades and a 7th 10 capacity upgrade.
Too many.
Way too many.
That seems like too much. We don't want to help our runners succeed. We want to give them a challenge. We got a save and quit from both players. What are they going to... Okay, we got some route divergence, guys.
Absolutely.
So Chris obviously taking the better route because he's Chris and not Andy. You can start from the Sanctuary or from Link's house later on. Once you save the old man from the cave on Death Mountain becomes a save and quit warp as well. So it's important to get up there as soon as possible, depending on what items you get and what the best route is. That's something that's really cool about these randomizers, is that a lot of it comes down to on-the-fly problem solving and routing to kind of figure out where you can go, what you can do, what's the best option in terms of how many items you can get there, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and a partial reason for Andy's routing choices, one of the things you definitely need in the first area, Kakariko Village, is bombs. There are, I believe, 3 locations that you have to bomb open, potentially more. So the route he took, there's always a guaranteed 50-50 chance of dropping 2 bombs. And we'll be seeing ChristosOwen taking the route from the north, checking the Lost Woods area first. So let's see. Now, in past versions, Kakariko Village has been kind of pretty stacked, I'd say.
Yeah, it usually has a lot of items that you'd want to pick up, but we were able to kind of spread items out a bit more so that it's not so stacked and you end up having to do a bit more. This particular version of the open mode that they're playing is also a swordless mode, which means our players will never find a sword in this game. They're going to find little green 20 rupees that say 20 on them. Those are where the swords would have been had
Almost.
they actually had them.
That was close. Just one number off.
The other goal of the early game is to collect enough rupees to be able to buy the bottle vendor item and eventually have enough to be able to get into the Palace of Darkness and collect Zora's item, which costs 500 rupees.
So basically, they got a lot of stuff to keep track of. And they can't see the tracker or anything, which is pretty impressive when it comes to doing these runs as quickly as Andy and Chris do. Is that this whole item tracker thing that you see in the middle of the screen there, that's all in their heads.
Yeah, generally a lot of runners will start out with, a tracker, not only to help themselves, but also it's nice for, when you're streaming, like doing races, for your viewers to know what's going on, where you're at. But yeah, keeping everything memorized in your head is generally difficult, and we got... Is that a bottle on ChristosOwen's side? We're about to see that over on Andy's side.
Absolutely.
A red potion. You want to write that down? But so yeah, the interesting thing is we haven't really found any quote-unquote required items yet. All this stuff has been nice, while boomerang debatably nice. I don't know.
It's the blue boomerang.
Love
too.
the boomerang.
Boomerangs. I mean, it does. It stuns enemies, so that's a start.
It also kills Stalfos Knights, I found out when I ran out of bombs the other day.
No, I forgot that they got the boomerang. Ooh.
We got the gloves. And the flute. All right, Kakariko coming through in the end. Thank you.
Kakariko.
And Christos having a little chat with the old lady outside of his house. Way back when we had a special race where Christos basically lost a lot of time because he forgot to check this one particular location which had the bow.
I mean, that's kind of the nature of randomizer. You can miss one item, and well, that is some value right there. 100 for 300, nice. But yeah, you can miss one item, and that's pretty much GG. Especially if you thought you already checked it, and then you never go back. Well, so this is interesting. We have a glove and a flute. Flute kind of, the only really thing that opens up is Death Mountain, because normally you would need the glove plus the lantern to get up to Death Mountain. But with the flute, you can go straight there. But we still have a ton of overworld left to check first, but it'll be interesting to see if either of these players go up there.
Yeah, and all that stuff I said about the old man, the save point, completely useless now, so that's cool.
This will also give them a lot more quick movement in the overworld to be able to get around.
Yeah, and you'll sometimes see players go down to the desert area for a quick check. A lot of times people put off, there's a particular cave down there called Agina's Cave, however you want to pronounce it. A lot of players will skip it, and when you have the flute, it's a quick check to go down there and grab that and then save and quit.
So if you're on Team Chris in the audience here, can we get a nice big round of applause, big yell? And if you're on Team Andy, just stay quiet, please. Thank you. There's always a lot of similarity at the beginning, just because going to Kakariko Village. Oh.
I remember that one.
That's another one, yeah.
Yeah, he lost a particular race because he forgot to check right there.
It's an easy one to... No, not really. I don't know who misses that. That's
It's
weird.
it's almost like the rando devs like to have fun with people that run randomizer a lot.
No, not at all.
Is it an honor to get your name in there?
I think it is an honor.
Even if it's often based on a dumb that you do? Is that a good thing that you want?
No comment.
No comment. All right. So, Andy, now in what we coined the term the South Shore area, and it looks like Chris is doing the same thing. They will more than likely be heading over to Mini Moldorm Cave next, which is going to be a little hard without a weapon, but they both bought bombs, so they might be able to clear that one on their first try, unless they're bad. We'll find out.
I think both of our players should be able to clear that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I would be very concerned.
The game assumes that you can kill most things with bombs alone. It's not very nice.
Did we mention this is swordless?
We did mention that this is in fact swordless. Our players are really in a search for a weapon other than bombs.
There's no swords?
There are no swords in the swordless game.
You gotta be stupid to play this game without a sword,
What
man.
did I have? And that's one down. We got another bomb. Is he gonna get the double? He got the double.
the twofer.
Oh, with a bomb drop too. Oh, a little too early on that one, or a little too late.
The immense skill coming from
Oh, and
Andy.
another wasted bomb. He's got to be careful.
Ooh.
And he's...
Oh.
Oh. Let's see if Chris has an easier time in this room. And what will our reward be?
Oh, we went underneath.
A big 20, a heart piece, the Moon Pearl.
Oh, baby.
And half magic.
Two really nice items to pick up early in the game.
So, Moon Pearl, pretty important item. kind of need that
It's
to
overrated.
kind of beat the kind of game. Most importantly, to get to the Dark World and not turn into a bunny.
Absolutely.
Or whatever it is you turn into, given
Yes, of
the
course.
different sprites.
With the different sprites, there are different bunny versions as well. We see both players also going for the Ice Rock Cave. Now, this is another place that sometimes people like to skip, and if there's nothing here, you save some time. If it's something important, kind of.
It's very interesting that neither of them can see each other's screens. They have no idea where they're going, where the others go. They have no idea where they're going. They have no idea where the other player is going.
Is this blindfolded?
Yeah. So it's just really interesting to see both of them essentially take, up to this point, nearly the exact same route.
I wonder if they planned this, or is that just because of the flute?
I think it's a natural progression. They've played this enough times. They're both top tier runners of the randomizer to be able to kind of have a good idea of what they're doing. We also good.
What we saw there was what we call the fake flipper. It's a pretty big deal if you want to check a few things, but most importantly, it's what we call a sequence break. Now, the game has the randomizer has a built-in logic, and when you do stuff without using minor glitches, you kind of break that logic. So, whoa, wow. We got a mirror in the back of Escape, and more importantly,
a single arrow.
A single arrow.
Only one of them in the entire game.
Oh,
wow. Moly. They always say video games is like escaping reality, and it really goes to show you that that's true.
Chris.
Andy is now literate in the video game. He has the Book of Medora, which will allow him to read basically the 2 tablets, as well as get into Desert if he doesn't have a way to get to the Dark World mire.
And also read what is inside of the Master Sword pedestal.
Ooh,
yeah.
can't forget about the pedestal.
Generally, people love a pedestal required seed, so who knows? Maybe the rando gods have shined a light on us and will give us the all-famous pedestal seed.
So earlier, Andy had jumped into the water through a screen transition without the flippers, which you normally need to swim. But with the Moon Pearl in hand...
Oh my goodness gracious.
With the Moon Pearl in hand, he was able to do what's known as the walk on water glitch and swim up into the Waterfall Fairy Cave and collect the 2 items in there by just leaving and coming back in.
And he's also, when you're doing the water walk glitch and you get the boots, it just makes it even more, even better.
Absolutely.
This game's a broken mess, essentially. So if you're wondering what the heck just happened there, it gets way worse than that. Not necessarily what they're doing today. If you want to look into it, though, there's a lot of different speedrun categories of this game where just using the controller alone, just break the heck out of the game and do the most ridiculous things ever. Fake flippers being a minor glitch. Obviously, there's major glitches. There's so much you can do with this game. Just start walking through walls, clipping through corners, stuff like that. There's actually randomizers that take advantage of that too, which are always fun to watch. I'm not nearly good enough to even pretend to know how to do that stuff, but there's a lot of resources and stuff like that. So if you saw that fake flippers thing and you were like, oh, whew, what's going on there?
Absolutely.
The rabbit hole goes much deeper.
Mm-hmm. And a good one to start out with is just overworld glitches. Just once you get the boots, and then suddenly you can just clip into G-Tower if you feel up to it. It's a very satisfying feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we see on Chris's side also going to go for the fake flippers. So Andy's little advantage he had earlier is going to be, cut a little bit short. But we see over on Andy's side, it's a little dark. Why is it that way? Why is it dark?
He's doing what's known as dark road navigation, another sequence break. In fact, I don't know if these players are actually following the sequence of the game at all. They're just kind of doing whatever they want, anywhere they want. And I believe he's saving the old man right now in the mountain.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Which will give him another save point.
Yeah, exactly. He really wants that save point now that he has
a
a warp to that exact spot anyways.
And generally getting through the dark rooms is a lot easier when you have a sword, because you'll have a little sparkly trail behind you. But when you don't have a sword, that's why you saw him throwing out the blue boomerang. That was his guiding light through the dark
I believe
rooms.
they call that boomalocation.
I don't know who says that. Is that you?
Grandpa only had $50 of birthday money, so nothing exciting there on Death Mountain. Heading up to Spectacle Rock, see what's up there.
Only a heart piece on top, but with the beer, there's a good chance of getting. Oh,
Chris, come on!
Oh,
man.
here we go.
Oh, we got our first
He's doing
cover.
it. No way.
So what Andy did right there was cheat.
As long as that's the only hover he does, we're fine.
Chris is
We don't have to get on him for that.
So another interesting thing about when you're in the fake flipper state, if you take damage, you immediately die. And
yes,
that would be really bad if Christos had taken damage before picking up the boots here.
Yeah, because who knows if he would have gone back and tried again. So
are we just going to gloss over the fact that Andy just like walked over a pit?
No,
Yeah, it's
we're
Yeah, I think people already like expected that. They already know, right? If you want to talk about it,
there's only like 150, 200 people fast. Like, I'm sure all of them know.
We've all seen
It's
a brief discussion that the game checks to see if you are falling every so many frames, and the dashing takes precedence over it. So while you're dashing, you can trick the game into thinking that you're still standing on something. And he was utilizing that to basically walk over the pit by dashing really, really quickly.
All you have to do is press the dash button for 1 frame and only release the dash button for a maximum of 30 frames over and over and over again while holding forward.
It's pretty free.
Is it the opposite of that?
Yes, you release it for 1 frame and press it back down. And
I don't know. No one knows how to do it.
Can anyone learn how to hover, Patty?
No.
Oh. Oh, there you go.
Don't listen to the lies you hear. It's impossible.
So we saw on the Ether tablet just some couch cash, so not really getting any value out of that book so far, and we only getting 10 arrows for our first item in Tower of Hera. So let's find out where our next progression is going to be. Andy taking a few hits from that mini Moldorn. What's he thinking about?
He's thinking about leaving.
It's a good idea.
Look at him. Look at him turning his head.
Another
Poor
note
Andy.
about the tablets and the Master Sword pedestal, well, at least the tablets anyway, because you don't have a sword, and then normally in the regular game you need the Master Sword or better to be able to get the item there. In Swordless, you need the hammer. It's the next best thing. It's magical. It has something to do with MC Hammer Pants, I think.
I could see that. Alrighty, and we got our first play over into the Sahasrara Eastern Palace area. Or no, second play. We saw him earlier. Did we find anything?
I think Christos came over
Yeah,
here.
I wonder
think
if
there was
we'll-
anything interesting.
We'll see the play into Eastern itself, which, generally it's a safe play to make, but, when you go in there without the means to complete it, you don't want to double dip dungeons in general.
I'm thinking that he's going to go to desert since he has the boots, but no fire source though.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
It's also still a sequence break. They shouldn't be able to get into desert at this point in the game.
I
yet.
mean, he's
Oh, yeah,
already
that's a good
already broken the heck out of it. Might as well go with it.
Oh, we got another green potion on the desert ledge.
cares?
We also saw Chris skipping out on the bug net, so that's one less safety for him in the future.
It's also
Not that he's going to need it.
in Swordless, it is a weapon that you can use to reflect Aghanim's balls back at him.
Wow, that's a good point. That might actually be required.
So the Aghanim fight, you have to deflect the fireballs or the spheres back at Aghanim to damage him, and usually you just use your sword to slash them. But because this is swordless, you can either use the hammer or the bug net, and I don't think usually the hammer works.
No, the hammer actually works
does
regularly
work in
vanilla
this
game.
normal. Okay, so the hammer and the net both work in the actual normal A Link to the Past game. I believe the bug net was ironically a bug and not supposed to deflect Aghanim's balls back at him. So I think that's the reason why they made it in Ocarina of Time with the bottle, that you can deflect Ganondorf's shots back at him, and then they kept it going in Twilight Princess. You can distract Ganon Beast with the fishing rod and Ganondorf with the fishing rod. So I think they messed up. I could be wrong.
I think they
They messed up in A Link to the Past, and they're like, let's just go with it. So now you can just do goofy stuff to the final boss of the game in most Zelda games. Isn't A Link to the Past great?
It is.
I like it. It's not bad.
Ooh. So Chris trying to take care of this hard hat beetle upstairs, and when you bomb, it gets stunned.
Are you kidding me?
Okay,
Go ahead.
So they sequence broke the logic of the randomizer to find the boots. And now that they have the boots, they're able to go to desert and get the fire rod. So they're not supposed to have the fire rod yet either. So they are missing something at this point that they just didn't get. And they're going to have to go back to some earlier area that they're going to gloss over very easily to find probably the flippers, I would
Yeah,
guess.
it'd be safe to assume it's
flippers.
probably sitting in Eastern Palace at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times the game wants to send you into a dungeon you can't complete just to find a required item to get to the item to complete the dungeon. It's very entertaining.
It could also be the hammer or the a glove upgrade to get to Dark World.
That's also an option. So, but yeah, that's huge.
Deeper and deeper.
Well, that's also the thing about sequence breaking is like, you can't just sequence break a little. You got to just keep on going. You got to keep going with the break.
How deep does the rabbit hole go?
Exactly.
Before you headbutt into a dead end and cry. That's what this game does to you, man.
And just a big 20 from Agonist Cave. So what do we have left to check at this point? We still have the 3 potential items in Eastern Palace. What else we got?
I can't think of anything.
So we're looking for a hammer or a glove to get us into...
Oh, escape.
There's escape.
Oh,
we
yeah,
can go
yeah.
through the front
See,
half
that's the
of
thing
it.
about open mode is that you don't have to go through the entire escape sequence at the beginning of the game. And then once you have the fire rod and the boots and the moon pearl and you're starting to think about going to Dark World, you forget that, Zelda's sitting in a dungeon somewhere calling for help, which, it's kind of important.
Well, she's not actually down there. She's already been saved, but if
By
she
you?
were down there.
Vitorp took her out of the dungeon and put her in the sanctuary.
And waiting until this point to go check it is smart. Now that, Andy and eventually Chris will actually have... Well, there they are.
it is.
Now that they actually have a weapon, instead of using, like, bombs, they'll be able to do it a little bit quicker. So what else do we got? What else is down here? We still got a few more chests to check.
Indeed, indeed. And while they're checking chests, I think now would probably be a good time for some donations if you have any.
Absolutely, we do. First of all, here's one from Vega, and their comment is, "Dang, son, where did you find this? I mean, really, where did the Pug Farm find all this money? But here's my match donation like I promised. Vega donated $1,360, matching that community donation." Also have the $70 from In the Name of DT, working hard back there on the tracker for the stream, says, "Hey guys, here's $5 for every crystal that will be collected." That's 14. Think dorm. Let's see. We have Anonymous with $25 who says, "Donation to Andy's choice. Pug life." And here's $25 from Cross Product, who says, "Good luck to Andy and Christos. I don't want you guys to get too far off track, but I'll donate an extra $25 if at least one runner talks to the NPC sitting at the bar."
So we had Andy go ahead and pick up some blue mail using the bonk rocks, which is really going to help him out, although they seem to have a fair amount of hearts at this point. I think our runners are probably going to be relatively safe from here to the end of the run.
I'm hoping for a few Ganon hugs at the end. I'm not going to lie to you. Big Piggy needs love.
Well, yeah, that... Oh, that's... Now that's interesting.
Who knows?
That could be a thing.
So there's, for those of you that might not know, there's an item in the game, half magic in the normal game that you get by sprinkling magic powder into a little bowl you find in a cave, and a bat comes out and gives you half magic. And they already have half magic, so that's thrown into the randomized item pool. But that means that there could be an important item in that same cave, and they might need the magic powder to get that item. And to get that magic powder, you have to beat the first Aghanim in the top of Hyrule Castle, which is a huge pain in the tuchus.
It very much is. Luckily, though, they'll know that they don't have to do that just yet until they get... Very clean fight there. But they won't have to do that until they get a lamp as well as a way to get to Aghanim himself, which would be either the cape or the hammer.
Well, yeah, because you can kill the little spark dude that blocks the entrance with the hammer in swordless mode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris picking up his first crystal. That was a very clean Landmola fight. I mean, when you have Fire Rod and half magic, it's just what? 2 shots each? Easy peasy. No big deal. And there they are, the Titan Mitts.
All right, so that officially gives Andy access to the Dark World, which opens up a whole can of worms in terms of possibilities on where to go next.
But the funny thing is they still don't have a hammer, which is very funny since they kind of need that.
Huge item in swordless mode to
pretty
have
big
that
deal,
hammer.
pretty big deal.
Yeah,
So we're going to be seeing a lot of Fire Rod for a while now. Oh, okay.
So a very important item was just found in swordless mode. You can hit Ganon with a hammer. It's something we enabled. There was actually code that said you couldn't hit him with a hammer, and we're like, well, you need to be able to hit him with something. So we let you hit him with the hammer. The only problem is in the final phase, you can't hit him with the hammer, or it's really, 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 really hard to do so. So the silver arrows are actually required to be able to kill Ganon, like the original game, the first Legend of Zelda game. So that is a huge item to pick up right there.
But right now, all you can do is, chuck them. Just chuck in arrows. So they still have to find the bow. What else? Canis Samaria, obviously the hammer. We haven't seen the Dark World pendants yet, so we don't know exactly what dungeons they have to do. But if Turtle Rock is a crystal, then they're going to have to fight Trinex, and obviously need the Ice Rod for that, which they don't have. Swordless Trinex is, it's a treat.
It's special.
Lots and lots of pausing.
All right, are we gonna? All right. Well, there's our first sword. Well, kind of. That little 20.
The sad reminder that there is no sword.
Yeah, for Andy, it's off to the Dark World now. And we'll probably be entering from the Village of Outcasts section, where we'll find Thieves Town and even Skull Woods. And Skull Woods is a little fancy this time. Now that, swords aren't required, we had to make it so you can go to Skull Woods.
Absolutely. A lot of people forget in open mode that you need a sword to cut through the curtains at the back half of the dungeon.
Wow. Pendant Mire and Pendant T-Rock, so...
That's really good for them. Really good for them.
Or really bad.
Or horrible, depending on how awful VTorp's new version of this randomizer is. So we'll see.
I take no credit.
I'm already expecting a bow in Pendant T-Rock. Like, it's every time.
Nothing warms the soul like having to drudge all the way up to Turtle Rock, dive all the way down to the eyeball cave, dash in between all the lasers, only to find that the very last chest in the dungeon just sends you back out of the dungeon to Eastern Palace to finish it. How fun.
It's very fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, Andy with a pretty sizable lead right now, especially if Chris decides to full clear all the potential items that he can get in Eastern, or if he immediately bails after getting the Titan mitts. It's a gamble to skip out on it after you get what you need to get in the Dark World, but we'll have to wait and see. And so far, nothing going on in Skull Woods. We still have one more item to find in here.
That's what's so impressive about people being able to do these randomizers, especially swordless, so quickly, is that we're sitting here with 3 brains combined, and we're still struggling to come up with, oh yeah, where can they go? What can they do? And we're not even playing the game.
Absolutely.
So these guys are playing the game without a way to cause damage, and the whole time they're going through this, executing all of these rooms so well, they're constantly racking their brains thinking, where am I going to go next? What would be the best way to go? Where's my opponent probably going to go? Just, their brains are firing a million miles a minute. And it's, I'm just so impressed and so happy to be a part of this. It's so great.
I'm glad to have you, Patty. That was sincere, I promise.
You don't have to lie.
Well, what I'm hoping to see from Andy after finishing out Skull Woods is, are we going to get that pedestal check right afterwards?
He has all the things necessary to go ahead and check that out.
Oh, he's dancing.
Dance all day. Yeah, the nice thing about, having half magic is you really don't have to worry too much about Mothula. Generally, it's, 8 shots with the Fire Rod?
8 shots with the Fire Rod.
As long as you don't keep hitting him into the spikes. Mothula is a little broken, just in general. We all know it. He knows it.
Yeah, they did not do a good job programming Mothra at all.
I think it's a wonderful fight.
They fixed it later.
Anytime you hit Mothula into a spike, it negates any damage that you've done to him. I think that's an excellent way to code.
It's just part of the challenge.
Yeah. I just love that, given that information, they decided, if he doesn't take damage when hit into a spike, why would we not just cover the entire room in moving spikes and a treadmill? Send it to print.
All right, this is looking pretty good so far. It's also
he's
worth
being
remembering-
so nice.
I know.
So nice.
Just
Oh
keeps
my
moving down in the
goodness.
middle. That's easy.
There will be, hopefully, hopefully we get to see, just for our own amusement, we get to see Chris have just the worst moth of all time. I want Chris to win, but I also want to see just a really awful, mean, horrible moth.
Looks like Chris is going to just dip right into Mire to find out what the entrance requirements are and also check 3 chests pretty quickly.
Getting the map check from Chris, since we were looking at Andy when he checked before.
Absolutely.
It was so fast, I didn't see it.
Was it Quake? It looked like a Quake medallion.
It was Quake medallion to get into.
Was it worth it?
I thought they just played Final Fantasy. I'm gonna go now. Have a good time, guys.
It's nice having you. Take your pineapple.
Here it comes.
Here we go.
Have our first pedestal check.
Ah!
All right, so that's just an arrow capacity upgrade. So what's going to happen is Andy's going to have to get all 3 pendants to come back for the arrow capacity upgrade in order to beat the game.
It's pretty important.
I'm sure he's really torn up inside getting that information.
It's rough.
You know, everyone wants a pedestal seat, especially the runners. They love doing all dungeons.
Yeah, you have just crushed the hopes of some of our donors as well.
Oh, no.
A lot of pedestal comments up here.
Let's hear some of them.
Oh, okay, sure, why not? Here's Blue-Green Mikey with a $500 donation. He says, I've been excited for this race ever since the AGDQ schedule was announced. The link to the past rando community is the best in all of Hyrule. Let's see some key sanity appearing at this Summer Games. Pedestal hype! Aww.
Nope.
Also, Nemesis with a great comment here. They also donated $500. So incredible. Said, hello, AGDQ community. Thank you for your extraordinary charity. I have been an AGDQ and SGDQ viewer for many years, and for the first time, donor. I admire your work very much. I've decided to make a donation because my wife had her best friend die of cancer 3 months ago. I would like to dedicate this donation to the whole Randomizer crew. It's so much fun to watch your tournaments and listen to your commentators. In hope of a pedestal race, many greetings from Germany to the crew of AGDQ and the Randomizer.
Nope.
You know, it sounds mean of the seed when we put it that way.
So Andy getting some information on the bumper cave, finding out that there's a bee in a bottle there.
Best item in the game.
Probably won't be coming back for it.
But is it a good bee?
I don't know.
Chris getting grabbed by the Wallmaster. Was it intentional? Probably not.
Probably not.
We know that there is a, what we like to call, well, we've already seen one earlier with the bottle and the book, but a fetch quest item, the mushroom. They'll have to take that over to the witch's hut to turn that in, which is a lot easier when you have the flute. But we'll see. We'll see if they decide to keep it as well.
It's the same kind of thing as the magic powder as before. You give the mushroom to the witch, and the witch puts magic powder in the hut for you to collect, but because the magic powder's somewhere else, it's a different item, and they don't know what it is yet.
Although there is a possibility that Andy may want to hold on to that mushroom for a while. Given that he knows that the magic powder is at the lumberjack, if there is something at the magic bat, there is a way to glitch the magic powder into pretending to be the mushroom, or vice versa.
There you go.
And he might hold on to it for a little while, depending on whether or not he can get the Cane of Samaria.
I really hope we see that. That'd be awesome.
I will interrupt your strategy meeting for a moment just to announce that we have beaten the record of donations from AGDQ 2015. Also, the staff were kind enough to inform me our next goal is the total that we achieved at Summer Games Done Quick 2017, which was $1.79 million.
We got to keep that up.
We got this. Easy peasy.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
It could be more money.
Could be what?
More money.
Ooh, time for our Christos moth fight.
Let's see how it goes.
Go up. More. What are you doing? Moth. 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 Moth.
So easy. Hey!
Aww. The dream is over.
Oh-ho!
Andy going for the not-so-good boomerang after he already has the good one.
What's wrong with red?
It's just not so good.
I just like croissants. Yum.
And our friend the flute boy here, who normally gives us the shovel, not giving us much of anything, 20 rupees.
We're now, for Andy, 1 rupee away from checking Zora. So, a big 20 is pretty important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, generally Andy is making the route down to go check what we like to call Hype Cave. During the spring tournament, that was kind of the general cave that had just a lot of stuff. Let's see if we're gonna get some hype today, guys.
I have to ask you, who is we?
Collectively?
Okay.
The general us, we.
That's a start. Come on, keep it going.
Oh, and
That's pretty good.
Chris has turned
That's
in his
less-
mushroom and gotten a bottle.
How terribly exciting that cave was.
I fell asleep a little bit during that. That's
And
unfortunate.
then I think, Vitorp, you noticed that Chris actually went and checked the mushroom.
Yes, he went ahead and just turned that in. He said, I have no idea where the powder is, because he doesn't actually know where the powder is.
He doesn't. Chris does something that can pay off or can, be horrible, and he doesn't check the item up under the lumberjack tree. So Andy knows that the powder's there, but
And Andy just threw his mushroom away.
Okay, so
Hey, blue potion though.
all right. Andy is banking on there not being anything of importance in that bat cave. But Chris just has no idea that powder is on that ledge.
The dream hammer is in Batcave.
Oh my gosh.
That is so possible.
I want that to happen.
So to play along with your hypothetical dream,
Uh-huh.
let's walk through what would need to happen for that to be a thing and how horrible and awful it would be.
Well, all we need would be the cape, the lamp,
Go to Aghanim 1
but
with no sword or hammer.
That means you'd have to do
Chris
it with
would have to go
bombs.
back and get the bug net as well. So
To be able to deflect anything
Yes.
at Aghanim. And then once Aghanim's defeated, the lumberjacks go away, opening up the tree that they have to bonk open to get the powder, and then take the powder to the hole where they would have to have access to the dark world to mirror past the hammer peg because they don't have the hammer, to jump into that hole, powder, and get the hammer from the bat. That is possible.
That sounds so glorious.
I know.
dreams do come true. So, yeah, from Zora we only got a heart container, as well as Digging Game only dropping a heart container. So what is our next progression? Where are we gonna go? What's next? We do have, let's see. With flippers in hand, our players could even swim over and go to pod.
Palace of Darkness, they could check what's on the pyramid. They could go all the way to the catfish.
A whole smorgasbord of possibilities.
Absolutely. They could go check the first chest in Swamp Palace.
That's a good one.
Always a chance of a hammer hiding out in there.
I don't want to think about that.
And we even got, for Andy's side, we got the Thieves Town play. Now, the scary thing about going into Thieves Town without the hammer is the big chest in here is guarded by a bunch of switches or whatever you want to call them, where you have to use the hammer to get to the chest.
Whack-a-moles.
Whack-a-moles.
So not having a hammer, if there's a required item in there, that could be pretty bad.
But there could be something in Thieves Town that you need to go somewhere else in order to get the hammer to come back to Thieves Town to get the thing out of the big chest that you need.
To go to Aga to get the...
Is every one of these going to end in to go to Aga?
To go to Aghanim to get the hammer they already have.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we got a bit of a route divergence. Chris already turning in the frog/blacksmith, which in the vanilla game you normally do to get the tempered sword, but of course those are randomized as well. And taking the purple chest, which you normally get a bottle from in the vanilla game, which of course is randomized as well. Because pretty much everything's randomized. So we're gonna find out if that is anything of value. It's a little bit quicker of a check when you have the mirror and the flute, but whilst checking this route down here, it's going to be a little brisk walk.
So just because people might have stopped into the live stream while this is going on real quick, and they're wondering why is there a Moogle running around a Link to the Past dungeons, this is Zelda Randomizer. Basically, everything in the game is put in an item pool and randomized among themselves, and there was an incentive for what to change Link's sprite to. So now that you're caught up and everything makes perfect sense.
Yes. We could have had Zelda. We could have had a dog.
What kind of a dog is it? It's like
I don't
Chihuahua
know.
or
No one
something?
really cares.
All right, nothing really of value happening up in Thievestown yet, but this is going to be big for Chris. If this turns out to be something big, a lot of people like to put off Purple Chest for a very long time.
Oh my goodness. Chris
reason.
takes the lead. He's actually going to be set up to go check Bombo's tablet, which is always a little more exciting than the Purple Chest, just because the Purple Chest is awful.
It
no
has
one
nice
likes it.
things.
Sometimes. Hey.
All right, so he'll need to come back there.
Just got to find that hammer.
I believe it's about 300 rupees usually.
A horde.
That's what a horde is, I think.
Now, is that like, in general, like a unit of measurement? A horde is 300?
It's 300 rupees.
So like Donkey Kong Country, he has exactly 300 bananas.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This is becoming a definition of horde now.
All right, and Chris now about to receive his unhype
Oh boy, I'm excited.
red tunic.
Red tunic's not too bad when, like, you can't do any damage to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing is it changes the color of his belt to red, and I believe Link's eyes will be red now.
Ooh.
So this is important to note. Right now, Andy has no way to actually defeat that boss. Because in this boat, the only way you can defeat it is if you have either the Cane of Samaria, the Cane of Burna, which is the blue cane, or a hammer, or a sword. There are no swords. We don't have a hammer or the other stuff, so it made sense to just bring Blind to the boss room and then bail out, because it's a quick, easy way to go back and check that later, or finish that off later.
So it looks like Chris is going to make the same play to Thieves Town here, or Thieves Hideout, whichever. And
I won't correct you.
that's okay. He'll be leaving Kakariko Village to get there. Andy, on the other hand, is going to be... Andy's going to be doing some new stuff here, possibly doing that Southern Hyrule movement that Chris already just did. So it looks like they're just kind of swapping places.
Yes,
Probably
Probably
a good time for donations.
A great time for donation. It's a good time for donations?
My favorite words. All right, here's a donation from K. Farnung. They left us $150 and simply said, looking forward to seeing a Link to the Past randomizer during prime time. Thank you, K. Farnung. And also Meg with a $1,000 donation. Said, as always, had to get my donation in during Andy's run. Lots of Pug Farm love to Andy. Good luck. Oh, and here's to killing the Yoshis. We have some other Yoshi incentive donations here. Duck Duck Moose with $150 said, my girlfriend and I have been arguing about killing the baby Yoshis for the past couple of hours. Luckily, I'm the one donating. Die, Yoshis, die! Speaking of some other bid wars, Anonymous donated $150 and said, please understand.
Okay.
We apologize for
Hammer
interrupting
hype,
that donation.
hammer hype, Doug. Good, take it away.
So we were wrong. Normal people get the chest and take it to the locksmith guy, but this is Andy. So he decided, I'm gonna take the chest to North Dark World and check for things, and now poor Chris.
Chris still has a good opportunity after this. There aren't a whole lot of spots left for him to go to.
I think the reason why he took that route is because I believe he had already checked what we call Cave 45 along the way down there. Circle of Bushes, Red Boomerang Cave.
The Red Boomerang Cave is where we found the Red Boomerang this time.
Yeah. So that's probably why you...
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna chalk it up to he's a cheater. I don't know how
That's the easiest way to do it. We love throwing that word around.
We'll never be able to prove it, but I'm just gonna go with that.
But the hammer is huge. It lets him basically do a lot of things now.
Like hurt enemies.
Yes. Like
Actually hurt many of them.
Yeah.
Like you can now kill Moldorm or
baby.
Blind.
You can use the hammer to get over to East Death Mountain, where there is a smorgasbord, I would say, of items.
Horde of
horde.
items.
I don't know. Horde's a bit much.
Literally 300 items over here. And you know what? We may be seeing some more hovering here pretty soon.
Oh,
too.
maybe.
There is a very particular cave that you generally need a hookshot to get through. We like to call it the hookshot cave.
That's usually what we call it,
Yeah.
Hookshot Cave.
It's simple.
The usually a hookshot cave. I like that.
So I'm guessing Chris will probably do the same peace out after he drops off blind.
I want to see him try and fight blind.
Unless he knows something I don't.
And only 10 arrows in Spiral Cave. Worth it.
That's 60 things we've seen. So there's 50 rupees on top, 10 arrows.
We're getting there.
We're getting close to that 300 that you were talking about.
Fifth of the way to a horde.
It's true, yeah, if you put it that way.
What if there's an inventory spot for each individual arrow? Think of the possibilities.
All right, well, this is huge. If Chris continues this route, which it looks like he's obviously doing, he's going to be getting his hammer pretty soon, so it's not really going to be too far behind.
Andy's showing off one of the more interesting version 1.0 Japanese ROM glitches where when you're inside of a cave,
Not a dungeon.
definitely don't do it in a dungeon. Or tell your friend to do it in a dungeon if you don't like them very much.
Sword.
You can erase blocks that you're pushing by just spamming the mirror.
Do you have any idea why that works?
I have
Or
no
why it, I guess, doesn't work would be a better way to put it. It's so odd. If you press the mirror button while a block is moving, the block just disappears. The game doesn't know what to do.
It's probably the sound that the mirror makes telling you,
But then you could do it with the book.
No, it doesn't do it with the book. The book's special. It's trying to read the block.
Oh, this sound.
It's a different
It's a different
Maybe.
They all sound the same to me. Can't read, can't look in a mirror. What's the...
Ooh,
Oh,
quick
Well,
Well, there's two potentially useless items.
I would like to submit a petition to rename this the Hype Cave.
Medallion Cave? Let's see what else we're going to find up in here.
So far, so good. Oh,
So,
making that Aghanim 1 play.
about that Aga play.
And that Aghanim play. It's still on the table.
Yeah.
They just need lamp, though. They still need the lamp.
Oh,
Get a little subtle hover here.
what a cheater. That's two.
Everyone cheers, and I'm just sitting here shaking my head.
I have a related donation, actually. $3,000 from Program Max.
Yo, Max. Thanks, dude.
And he says, how am I supposed to heckle Andy if he can't hear me? Thankfully, Patty has me covered. Good luck to both runners.
Here we go. Will Andy do the thing that he loves to do?
I think it's almost a given.
Hear it? Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
There's one.
Never thought I could be so free. I'm a dirty cheater and my name is Andy. Playing ALttP.
Aww. Boo. You gotta hover the whole thing.
Oh, Andy's arm got tired. So obviously you're not supposed to get those items till you have the hook shot.
I don't think these guys have followed the logic at all for pretty much any of this game, so I don't.
Nah.
Yeah, they're making us look bad.
I do that alone, but, you know.
All right, coming up is Spike Cave.
Why do they call it that?
Beats me.
No, seriously, why do they call it that? Do you not know?
I have no idea.
Is that is that the actual name of it?
We should call it Torch Cave. There's a whole bunch of torches.
There are a lot of
lining it.
torches. And a big rock cave. There's a big rock at the end.
That's true.
And Chris is going to find out what the medallion is to get into T-Rock is, and it is Bombos, which we did get up there.
So they're going to have both medallions they need to get into 2 dungeons that they might not need to set foot in anyways. So,
Absolutely.
Their inventory is actually surprisingly bare for as much movement and motion they have throughout the overworlds and as many dungeons as they can do right now. They don't really have too much, it seems like.
They've been spending more time in the overworld, it feels like.
So at this point, as far as we know, the only things they still need are the hookshot, the bow. We don't know if they actually need Canis Maria yet.
Canis Maria is going to be needed if they need to go into Misery Mire, or they need to beat Misery Mire,
Right.
rather.
If they need to enter Turtle Rock.
Or if they need to go into Turtle Rock, or if they don't need to do either of those things, but they need to go to the right side of Ganon Tower basement in order to find the big key.
Yeah,
so there are a lot of places that they have to be able to avoid in order to not need the Canis Maria, which quite honestly doesn't happen ever.
It's pretty rare. That's the one thing when you get, like, whenever you start up a new seed and you see which dungeons are required, you're already starting to think, what items do I not need? And how soon can I get to this, what we like to call go mode? You guys might know what that is.
I believe it's the time when you have enough items to be able to go to the end of the game and kill Ganon.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay.
What if you're bad at the game and can't kill Ganon? Then are you ever in go mode?
No, never.
Okay.
We have Christos making a play on Ice Palace.
Now we're getting some real divergence here.
Yeah. And with Bombos, Fire Rod, and Half Magic. Oh, hi, Bombos.
Well, that's a fun little tile there. What's that all about, Vitor? Tell us about that.
So recently in Swordless mode, we had no way of you to actually activate any of the medallion tablet, the Bombos medallion inside of Ice Palace. You're not supposed to be able to do it without a sword in the game in general, but we allow you to use it to open up Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. And Chris made an excellent point that we should be able to use it inside of Ice Palace to gain entry. And after a lot of hacking and cracking, we were able to make it so that we could put those tiles in there for you to be able to use it, but only in Swordless mode.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, that's especially good for Chris.
That's good for Chris, but Andy doesn't need it. Just kidding. They made
He might for a particular dungeon.
They made a gentleman's agreement before this race that before they ended the race, they would both have to find Hookshot. So
Well, and luckily they absolutely have to find Hookshot to get to Argus.
Is he a pirate?
He has like 7 R's in his name.
It's a very weird spelling, no doubt.
It's the boss of Swamp. It's named Argus.
So this is interesting. We got some even more route divergence with Andy. First one going into Mire. Now, while Chris is able to clear ice and get the crystal, Andy's not going to be able to clear this because unless we find Canis Maria in here, and we also have to remember it is a pendant, and if I recall correctly, it is the green. No, green pendant is at T-Rock. All right.
This is what we in the business call a gamble. Chris pulling off a bomb jump there.
And Andy 2-cycling the Wizrobes room.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's still good.
Yeah. No sword.
If you don't know, you can line yourself up on certain pixels and blast yourself over certain gaps. There's a lot of guides for it, especially in Ice Palace.
Yeah, bombs are pretty useful in a lot of these rooms, as we've been seeing. The penguins are really weird because, like, you'd think they die in one hit to a fire rod shot, but they don't.
They don't know, but they're scared of the hook shot.
And bombs. Like,
Got that thick coat of blubber.
Yeah. Yeah, let's find out if there's anything of value in Meyer.
Oh, the big key.
Oh, that's huge.
Don't listen to the moans and groans. I liked that one. That was good.
Ice Palace is also just one of those interesting dungeons where there are a lot of ways you can route it, with or without hook shot. You know, there's a bomb jump in that room that you can do. There's like 2 other potential bomb jumps, and you know, you would never use that in any other way of playing this game. So it's kind of fun.
There's just playing it normally, where you go through the dungeon, don't bomb jump.
That's boring. Got to do the bomb jumps. Got to show off somehow.
We also have to check the map over on ChristosOwen side in case he forgot how to get through this dungeon.
I'm in Ice Palace, right? Yes, I'm in Ice Palace. Okay.
I'm going to be real with you. Most people forget how to get through this dungeon. Something to note. What did he get there? I wasn't looking.
You got a tiny shield?
A what?
Tiny shield for Andy?
Got a little tiny shield?
Yeah, he's got a little shield.
A little Moogle with his shield. It's adorable.
A little paper plate.
Oh, at this moment, I'd like to thank everyone that chose Moogle for the
Shout-outs.
sprite choice, because oh my gosh, look at that cute little shield that thing's holding.
There are actually a lot of amazing sprites that you can use. What are we up to? Like 40 now, maybe?
70,
7? Okay.
I think. Unique sprites.
It's a lot larger than I thought.
Something to note that I was going to point out. Both Andy and Chris, for those that don't know, they're really good at randomizer runs, but a large reason why they're so good is because they're really good speedrunners of this game. Pretty much all the categories for both of them, they know how to do. I know Andy knows how to do reverse boss order. They do swordless, no major glitches, pretty much everything, and they have really good times in them too. So randomizer's fun though, because even though skill translates over in terms of execution and movement and all that good stuff that everyone watching GDQ is so used to hearing with that juicy movement and frames and but also just like I said before, the problem solving skills and everything like that, they excel at them. Chris more than Andy.
All right, so unfortunately for Andy, other than finding a shield, Meyer was a bit of a bust, and you know it's quite a bit of a time loss there. You never know. You always want to. Sometimes you want to make those pendant dungeon gambles.
Well, I think he's going into a good dungeon this time now.
So Chris is coming up on Cold Stare here, and again with the tile thing, sometimes you can get down to Cold Stare and you might not have a fire rod. So one use of bombos though, and boop, all gone.
No shield.
Really wise usage here, so he doesn't have to hammer as much, and maybe use the fire rod. Although he's okay, never mind.
There you go.
The fire rod hits Cold Stare like a truck.
Oh, nice.
A fire truck.
A fire truck. Really well done. Oh, there's the other one. So that medallion won't be used at all.
Yeah, that won't be used at all this entire run.
I'm a big fan of the second to last room in Ganon's Tower.
Oh, with the little invisible
using
bridge?
No, like with all the beetles and the spikes and the bumpers.
Oh, just freezing them up there?
Just like getting past all of it and using ether anyways, just to freeze all the beetles.
But he can't because he doesn't have a sword.
I'm just saying what I'm a fan of. It's about me now.
All right. The trek through pod continues. When there's a small key there, that means you can keep going. A lot of times, this dungeon will be immediately bow locked if there's an item in that first chest and you don't have the bow.
Mm-hmm.
So
there are mimics in the right side.
Mm-hmm.
That it's one of those classic Zelda rooms where you absolutely have to kill the enemies to move on, and mimics only die. Oh my God, he's
gonna do
cheating
this
again.
Hover. Absolutely.
So about that bow.
It's not actually cheating. I just hate that he can do it. Normally, you need to get past those mimics I was talking about because you need the bow. But no.
More than likely, he's not going to find the bow in the back of the dungeon, though, because of that.
I would imagine not.
And now we get to see on Chris's side the blind fight, which sometimes can get a little hectic, especially when you don't have a sword. But you got plenty of health.
And I mean, they have a few magic pots as well to refill the health.
It's a quick fight. It still looks hectic. But there goes blind.
Well done for having the hammer.
The more you play this game, the more you pick up on little things. But what Chris just did there was really actually super cool and super, I guess, high-tech, Technical would be a better word for it. When you move in this game, no matter how lightly you press on a directional pad, Link moves a certain number of pixels. But you can interrupt that with a sword slash or a boot dash tap. So what he was doing while dodging those fireballs is he was moving all over the place, but he was interrupting all the movements with dashes so that he would stop and go in between those little gaps there. So he was super aware of where all those fireballs were going and pressing the dash button in order to stop so that Link didn't go all the way to where the game wanted him to, so that he could dodge all that stuff. Wow. Either that, or he's an idiot and was just tapping A for no reason all over the place and tricked the hell out of him.
Just doing a little dance.
What he is doing, though, right now is heading up to go collect the Pyramid Fairy. He has collected the 5 and 6 crystals, which in the base game you normally need to have those to unlock the big red bomb here at Link's Dark World house. And with that, he's going to be able to figure out what 2 items that fairy is holding for him.
And he wasn't just running into that enemy just for fun. That, as well as using a hook shot, you can set it up so normally you can't dash with the bomb. Once you dash, the bomb just stops and starts. The timer shows up, but you can set up a D-boost to then dash around with the bomb, and you don't lose it.
So Andy just got something. Looks like he got a horde of rupees from the way his rupee count was moving there. So dark rooms in Dark World dungeons can get really fun. So right now he's going through just a maze of short walls with I think either 4 or 5 little dodongos walking around shooting fireballs, and he got through it fine.
And we have our own little tiny shield for Chris. Interesting thing about this, the mails and the shields are still progressive even though there are no swords. That's why we were able to find different small shields in different places in the game.
So if Chris were to go back now to where Andy found his shield, he would get the red shield and vice versa for Andy.
Absolutely.
And also, just shields do kind of play a part in the logic, particularly and mostly in the laser bridge in T-Rock. So if we end up finding like a mirror shield or the third shield at some point, that could be part of the logic.
That would be for these players because it's, at least for speedrunners of the game, kind of second nature at this point and at this skill level to be able to just get around those lasers without taking a hit. It's pretty, even I can do it and I am not good. So it plays a role.
Don't sell yourself so short. You made
not,
it. You were in the tournament.
Oh, please.
You had fun.
Again, oh, please. So getting a mirror shield for these runners would more be an indication like I need to go skip the lasers possibly more than it would be, oh, now I can go to the laser bridge. But none of that matters because they don't have the Cane of Samaria yet.
Right. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
But they might not need it.
That's like the mantra of this game. They might not need it.
They might not need it.
Chris picking up his heart container and Andy having a little dance with blind. Good enough.
Good enough.
Golf clap.
Could be better.
The only thing we're sure of right now is that we need the bow and the lamp, usually.
Usually.
These players don't seem to care about the lamp.
No.
But
dark rooms. No
we're past the point of needing a lamp.
What if the lamp is at the magic bat? I'm sorry, the bow. What if the bow is at the magic bat?
Ooh, that's the last hope here. For those of you that are as sadistic as we are, hoping for the worst possible seed, put all your money on bow being at bat.
So now normally, for Andy, you'd be able to, if you had the sword, you can do one of the more fun tricks is the hammer dash, or just item dash in general. Without a sword, you just bonk right into these little pegs, so we gotta do the slow route of bonking them each individually.
Like I said, this game is a broken mess.
Big 20. Hype.
Speaking of putting your money down on something, why not put your money down on a charitable donation to GDQ to help prevent cancer? Why not do that? You have any for us to read?
Sure thing. Let's go back to that one I was about to read when Andy had his hammer hype. It was anonymous, and $150 was the amount. Their comment was, please understand there can be one name only for the Breath of the Wild horse. And of course they were donating toward the incentive to name the horse Awata. We also have a $50 donation from OPT Lawyer. They say, gotta give a shout out to the randomizer crew. Good luck to everyone involved. This randomizer got me playing my childhood favorite Zelda game so much more than I ever have before. Thank you all for letting me be a part of the ALttP rando community. And thank you all at GDQ for putting this whole event on. Money goes to not validating the run, because no one really wants to check that chest. Here's $35 from Magius, who says, Andy, Christos, Willard, Carcat, Vitorp, Patty, Desirect, Small Hacker, DT, Filian, and of course all my fellow Rando community members. Hey, it's me, Magius. I just had to donate for the race. I mean it. It's gotta be an epic race. Hope Andy hovers Trolldorm too, and Christos maybe can too. I'll see you all in the post-race race. Good luck to all of you. Now please just remember that pedestal is always hype, and let's all hope this isn't a jet seed. From all of us that can't be there, I want to wish you all luck.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Scrivo with a $20 donation said, Scrivo here, best of luck to my good friends Christos and Andy on their race. I've had some larger donations coming in tonight as well, although every little bit helps. Roy Koopa with $1,000 said, good luck to the Numpty and Pug, but mostly the Numpty. Donation to Christos' choice there.
Good.
Eshwin donated $50 and said, I, for one, welcome our new randomized overlords. Shout out to the Final Fantasy randomizer community. Let's get some more randomizers in future GDQs. Here's another $1,000 donation from Gavin. And thank you, Gavin. We appreciate it. They said, I want to donate $1 for every Games Done Quick run I've watched as VOD on YouTube. Lost count, rounded up.
All right, so we have Christos checking out the infamous Swamp Palace, which is not in a place that you would think the swamp would be most of the time.
It's more of a sewer palace, but, you know, I'm not going to argue that with anyone.
Don't judge.
It could be a swamp palace if it wants.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Andy making the play into Ice Palace is going to be picking up that hook shot as well as the crystal from Cold Stare. I don't think we've actually seen anything of value in Swamp. A lot of times players like to skip this left side because it does take a bit of time. Chris might be about to realize that he probably should have. But we'll see.
We'll see. This chest could have everything.
All right, so it paid off pretty well. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of hoping Andy would just like be like, I don't need to check this room, and just leave the hook shot. Because I want him to lose.
Wouldn't it be better to wish for a player to win as opposed to a player to lose?
Not in this case.
Okay.
There's also one thing to note. This fight against Argus is kind of really obnoxious when you don't have a sword. So it's actually pretty much like turn-based. It's a turn-based battle, you know.
Very much so.
Because they're going to be having to pause, swap to hookshot, use it, pause, switch to hammer, use it, pause. You see where I'm going with this.
I notice a pattern, yes.
You know, they can actually hookshot 2 of them at a time for the advanced strats.
You can't see, but Willard just put his hand up to Vitorp's face and went, rude as heck.
Didn't happen. It's making stuff up again.
I'm pretty sure that happened. I was right there.
How could you see? Yeah, woo! Andy hovered again. Wow.
No, I actually think they were cheering for Christos not getting sucked back down the stairs on the Ice Palace.
He didn't?
He didn't get sucked back down the stairs.
Okay, I'm actually excited about that. What?
So on these right side stairs, when you come up the first time, if you do it just right, you don't get sucked right back down them. But the camera gets messed up normally, and you'll climb up the stairs most of the way. The screen transitions, and it comes back, and it just sends you right back down them, and you can't do anything about it.
The game's broken.
And a mess. Ooh. Welcome to GDQ at night.
After dark.
Look at the intense concentration. I bet they don't even know that the lights went out. Anyone bring popcorn? Arr. Why you be hook-shotting me, Puffs? Put your hammer away. It be me, Argus, holder of whatever crystal it is that I have.
Seen a little bit of these advanced strats you were talking
See,
about.
it's advanced. It's getting 2 puffs at a time. Does he go for the trick?
Aw,
Getting beat by the menu
losing
there.
a few seconds there. Can't have that.
Oh, this was the pausing and unpausing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't it fun?
no.
There's trade-offs to every mode. This is the one trade-off to swordless.
The one trade-off. I can't think of any other trade-off to not having a sword throughout the entire video game. Just the Argus fight.
Just the Argus fight, yes.
Good lord.
And there are a few options that you can use to finish off the second phase of Argus. Oh, wow! Oh! King of Samaria. Oh. I think that's actually a bad thing, because that just opens up a bunch of extra stuff you probably don't want to go do. But who knows? Well, I mean, as long as we don't find that ice rod, you know, we can still see that bow on Laser Bridge.
Yes, at this point, Crystal probably he hasn't gone into pod yet, has he?
No, I don't believe
think
he
so, no.
has. No.
So he'll probably make the play for pod. Just to...
Maybe.
Because if the bow's in there and that's all he needs, you might as well do it.
It's true.
That's true.
But nope.
Oh, we're going to Meyer. He's going to clear Meyer with the King of Samaria there.
Because everyone loves to try and kill Vitreous with the hammer and no bow.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a toughie. But did we see both the items in there on Andy's side?
I don't know. I'm not watching it.
We saw a shield and arrow.
I think we just saw the shield.
So Vitreous is holding something.
Maybe.
Maybe. Ooh.
Man, if only we paid attention.
It adds mystery.
Oh, mystery tournament. All right, let's see Andy's cold stare fight. Should be hard. I think he's got it. He's pretty good at this game.
Yeah, he's all right. I think he'll start off with the fire rod as opposed to hammering. We can only hope.
Oh, nice.
Never mind.
Ooh. There's one. There's two. There's three.
Right, so as it stands right now, we have Christos one entire dungeon ahead of Andy.
In terms of completion, Christos doesn't know what's in pod, though, so if he makes the play for pod without getting the bow first, then that's going to lose him some time over whatever Andy does, considering he's done that.
I don't know. I mean, he could have gone to Pod, but he went to Meyer instead.
Right.
So he might go up to Turtle Rock next.
Maybe. As long as he doesn't find the bow before going to Pod, then Andy's... It's pretty much anyone's game, but if he does end up finding that bow before diving Pod, then that's going to put Andy at quite a disadvantage.
And from
Good.
the looks of it, it looks like Andy's going to be making the swamp play.
That was really cool with the Cane of Samaria there.
What happened?
Well, he did a Samaria dash, which kicks the Samaria block way off into the distance, and then he exploded it when it was in the exact right spot to be able to kill both the blue Bari and change the crystal switch at the same time.
He's a fancy, fancy boy, that Christos.
Stealing that.
So this is a good time for some donations, probably. Both
Yeah,
players
totally.
are going through what the other player's done.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Yeah, and here's one that it could give you something to discuss. I'm sure you were going to cover later on anyway, but Anonymous donated $250, said, "Good luck, Christos and Andy. I'm hooked on these randomizer games, and A Link to the Past is the best. Another $250 if the big key is in chest 11. So I'm sure you'll talk about big key placement as we get closer to Ganon's Tower. Let's see. In the meantime, more donations. Wolfman 2000 with a $215 donation. It says, "Everyone, I've been looking forward to this run all event, and I hope you are all hyped for it as well. I'm donating $1 for every possible item location except one. My donation goes to our runners being nice Hylians and leaving Moldorm's last possessions alone. If we wanted to be thieves, we would be playing Link's Awakening instead." Brinna with a $1,000 donation said, I had no idea random Zelda was a thing. Now I look forward to playing one of my favorite games in a new way. Good RNG, guys." And JDW42 with a $1,300 donation. I wanted to fit this one in for sure. JDW said, "Pedestal hype may be dead, but I'll donate another $25 for each time Aga 2 shoots blue balls." Thanks, JDW. And we've got a donation here from Derheinian. And they say, their comment here is, "Zelda Randomizer has meant a lot to me over the last few months. The spring and fall tournaments were a constant companion during late nights and early mornings with my newborn daughter, Lily. It's awesome to get to see it featured at AGDQ. Good luck to both the runners." And this donation goes to the choice of whichever runner reaches go mode first. Thank you for the $200 donation there, Derheinian.
Are we going to consider the lamp part of go mode? Because we have Christos trying to... I don't even know what room he's in right now. Oh, looks like he's in the third room.
Yep. And he's good.
He's good. He's got two more rooms, or one more room of darkness left.
Oh, yeah, but it's a joke compared to the other ones. He just dodged a spike trap through a block on a switch he couldn't see. And
He killed 15 monsters. They don't know this.
it's crazy, man. He's nuts.
A horde of monsters.
Yes, a horde of monsters in there.
We have a $100 donation from Old Man Sunshine. Their comment, "Loving the Zelda ALttP randomizer. Here's help toward the new 1.79 million goal." Thank you, Old Man Sunshine.
All right, so Christos is about to enter one of the most original bosses in the Zelda franchise. Literal bunch of eyeballs. Very unique. No other Zelda game features any boss with eyeballs that are a weak point.
I'm pretty sure there's not a single other one.
I can't think of any. One of my favorite bosses from the game. It's a bunch of little eyeballs and one big eyeball. Just super scary.
Speaking of super scary, having to use the hammer in this fight. I mean, he does have red tunic, but he's gonna be opting to use that blue potion Just to extend his life a little bit longer. This is a tough fight. Usually you want a sword, obviously, but just a bow in general would be nice too. But who knows?
The only trade-off.
Maybe he could be holding the bow. You never know. Yeah, for this fight, you just kind of want to be patient.
And on the other
Wait
side,
for them to come to you.
so Andy fighting the menu to beat Argus.
Oh.
This is getting close.
All right.
And now the hard part.
I'd be walking up into the goo there.
Oh, jeez.
Chris, don't you do this to me.
There we go.
There we go. But he does get that sweet, sweet red pendant.
The coveted pendant of wisdom.
Well, fortunately, I guess for Chris, despite, losing a bit of time there, who knows, maybe Andy might go back and kill Vitreous, but we do see Andy actually going back into Swamp to go, I presume, to check the left side, or Big Chest, or whatever. So, I don't know if it's that much of a time loss. We still got a lot of race left ahead of us. And
At this point, it quite literally depends on who finds the bow.
Yes.
That's where we are right now, is who's going to go to the right place, the right time to find the bow.
It could be absolutely anywhere that is called Turtle Rock.
now I would assume Chris is going to be probably making the Turtle Rock play. He still does need to check, Hookshot Cave, now that he has a hookshot. But you wouldn't go up here just for one spot, one little spot. I mean, there are, a good amount of chests in that cave, so.
Yes, 4 or 3 left.
Kind of really hope he goes into Turtle Rock.
Oh, he's absolutely going to go into Turtle Rock. You can see it in his eyes. They're red.
So another fun thing with blocks that you saw from both players in Meyer and Chris just now in this cave. Basically, when blocks are moving in, especially this version, specifically this version of the game, they just don't work right. They're real bad. Chris just hook-shotted through blocks to hit another block that was static, and then hook-shotted a block that was next to a block. He pushed through that block and then ended up inside the block and walked out of it to get through it. Blocks are just crazy in this game. And then in Meyer, they were pushing blocks and shooting fire rods through it, or at least trying. I think someone messed it up at one point, but a lot of fun little things in 1.0 specifically that you can do to just save a little bit of time. I don't know. It's a fun little thing here and there with the 1.0 glitches.
It's fun learning all the tiny little glitches. They are just, little tiny little time saves. And then big time saves with like bomb jumps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then hovering we don't talk about that.
Bomb jumps actually you can do in any version of the game. So
Absolutely.
if you've just got your USA PAL, whatever you want to call it, NTSC cart of A Link to the Past sitting around, or you've got like a virtual console version of just the normal game, you can go to Ice Palace and learn how to do that bomb jump. Save yourself a ton of time playing through the game casually.
Rupee Horde collected.
The heart of rubies.
Totally worth it.
We just saw a moonwalk off of that. It's really nice to always see one of those.
All right, we're getting this Turtle Rock play.
Here's the big play. The bow is in here. That would, as far as we know.
Does it look like Andy's going for the same play right now?
Oh, man.
I think he is.
He's going right up to Turtle Rock. Oh! And he's out. He's out.
There it is.
He's out of the dungeon.
I believe we have entered go mode.
Well, I'm pretty sure we might still need a link.
Nah.
No. Okay.
Why is it always the bow? The bow seems to be like the most popular, like last item.
I'm pretty
sure.
sure.
What did you do?
No, that's perception bias.
Okay.
See, I think the big thing here is going to be that Chris doesn't have the bug net.
That actually could play a huge thing in the final part of the game.
And Chris is awful at using the hammer to hit fireballs back at Aghanim. I've seen it with my own eyes.
It's actually really tough to do that fight with just the hammer
It's
when you have
really hard.
3 Aghanims shooting stuff at you from different directions and trying to reflect 1 or 2 of them back at a time.
Could you imagine if a race of this caliber came down to a bug net?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
You have my attention.
Well, if I were just sitting up here, the three of us, like, what is the worst possible thing that can happen to these runners? Let's talk about it and hope with all our might that it occurs.
That's kind of our job as commentators.
We're helping the audience understand all the possibilities.
So now Andy, roughly, what, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes behind Chris, picking up the bow there. 2 minutes or so.
Well, I don't think Andy has to check much of pod. He already has
Exactly.
gone through it.
That was going to be my point, is that even though he picked up the bow a little later than Chris did, Chris has to go through a lot of pod in order to get all the keys he needs. He needs to find the big key, et cetera, et cetera. Andy's already taken key to pod, so he can sprint all the way in there. He can basically go to the end of the dungeon at this point. So depending on how long it takes Chris to find the big key and another key here, Andy might actually have the lead.
I think you might be right on this one.
Yeah,
and he has the bug net.
Andy has the bug net.
So this could even just come down to a G-Tower route divergence, because, I mean, there's the big key, but, you know, Chris still needs to get a small key, so he might opt to... Yeah, he's going to be going through the Mimic section that Patty was talking about earlier, so we do get to see that.
And he's going to find a small key there, too.
Yeah, I believe there was 2 on that side, so...
Well, Chris is a smart cookie, and he knows a lot about the logic of this. Generally speaking, 100% of the time, there's at least 1 small key on that side.
And the nice thing is he can just grab it and just go straight up, because that's the way to Helmsar.
This is
We're getting in
close.
sync.
Andy takes the lead. Just like that.
Andy's in the lead by half of a room right now. Andy's in the lead by a full room right now.
So, I mean, here on out, it's all execution until we get into G-Tower, then it's all chance again, looking for that big key.
That's what makes these so fun, though, is that it's a lot of skill and a lot of, you know, like I've been saying throughout, it's a lot of problem solving on the fly and routing in your head while executing. But all of these, it comes down a lot to who's going to go left and who's going to go right at the very end, and it keeps it exciting, because if they go different ways, ooh,
Oh, absolutely.
it's a fun time.
Yeah.
So I do know Christos has generally recently been doing the right side gamble more often than not, even though it's mathematically the wrong choice every single time. So we'll see what happens when with Andy in this particular case as well.
It's almost similar to like a roguelike speed run in a way, where you don't really know what's coming up exactly, but you're really freaking good at it, so you can do it quickly no matter what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see who's got the better Helmsar King. It's only 7 hits to the face with
Plus
the
10
hammer.
more.
17 hits with the...
You were close.
I rounded down.
To 7?
And with the bow and the silvers, just a one-shot.
Fun little thing about Helmsar and his helmet. If Helmsar, he didn't do it for either player, but Helmsar has an attack where he shoots out a fireball from his mouth, and it splits into 3 fireballs, and those fireballs split into 4 fireballs each. But if he shoots out that fireball, or there's fireballs on the screen at all, and you break his helmet off,
They all disappear.
they all disappear, because the helmet becomes a bazillion different sprites, and they have priority over the fireballs. So the helmet appears as a bunch of different sprites breaking off, and the fireballs just boop, gone. So it's a pretty good strategy sometimes if you have 16 hits on Helmsar's helmet,
To wait.
and he stops and starts charging up a fireball.
Wait a little bit.
Wait for like a second or two. Fireball comes out, hit him the last time, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but our players got pretty fortunate not even have to deal with that at all, because he never even used that attack. And also fortunate being able to just immediately dupod, mirror, and then finish off Eastern Palace and grab that last crystal. I can't believe it. After all this, we're almost an hour and a half in, and our players are a room behind.
Come on, Chris, you got this, buddy.
We're not playing favorites, right?
No. I don't know if that got picked on the mic, but someone said, "Let's go, Andy," in the crowd, and I just had to. I couldn't help myself.
Looks like our players definitely have plenty of arrows to get through the end of this game. I'm not sure if they'll be able to complete it with 46 and 54 respectively.
I'm telling you, they need to go back
And kid.
to the pedestal
And kid.
with all 3 medallions, or whatever the heck it is you collect.
They got 3 medallions.
I know, Willard. Sometimes I say things that aren't correct. I can't help it.
We'll let this one slide.
So what's great about this whole thing?
What's great about this
whole It's just tickling me.
Okay.
It doesn't really have anything to do with the gameplay.
Okay, this is important.
Andy's taking me to dinner after this, and he can't hear what I say. So I'm still going to have a ride to dinner. And later, he's going to watch this. It's tickling me. So, super tough Armos fight with silver arrows.
He missed a few.
Yeah.
But he got there in the end.
No one else is fun is they have no idea that they're this close.
No.
No idea.
So we have some people already shouting out in the room where they think the big key is going to be.
So we like to play.
We're not going to, no.
We like to play a little game.
Call your shots.
We like to play a little game. There are 22 chests. One of those chests is going to have a big key in it.
Hopefully.
I feel
Hopefully.
like I'm in The Price is Right now. Everyone's calling out numbers, saying saying what number chest the big key is going to be in Ganon's Tower in a little while here.
I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? What are you feeling tonight?
I'm honestly hoping, because they're trying to go through this game as fast as possible, maybe somewhere after the tile room.
Oh my gosh.
I'd like to see another Armos fight. That one was too fast. I missed it.
I see what you did there. It's clever. I want it to be on the torch.
On the torch.
But someone goes full right.
Skill-based speedrun.
Actually, yeah, that's
they're really
that's
close.
A good idea.
Could be on the right side. Those two chests would be nice and
Yeah.
Let's let it come down to execution.
Let's let it, because we have control over where it's going to be.
I'm using my commentator powers. Torch. Lionel has it.
The enemy outside of Ganon's
Shooting
Tower.
lasers.
My favorite number is 19, so I always just go for whatever the 19th item they check is.
Alrighty, here we go. Moment of truth.
both
It looks
going
like
right.
they're both playing the same route.
1,
Our piece.
2.
Small key.
Count along with Patty.
Will we see a divergence here?
Counting with Patty.
Yep, we have our divergence.
Here we go. Well, you got
3.
your key.
But it's not big enough.
Tile room.
Skipping tile room.
Well, nobody ever does. Tile rooms always last. That's just a
That would also
gentleman's
be
agreement. That's just the rule.
skill-based if it were the tile room, because they both end there at the same time.
That's true.
It's true. Wow, Andy not even hovering over the gaps. What a loser.
Chris dodging some.
Five?
Yes, that was 5.
If you guess number 5,
Congratulations.
pat yourself on the back.
If you didn't, sucks to suck.
this is good, though. Chris is at least going to be... He got out the mirror, which means he'll be going back to the left side as soon as he picks up that key.
But how much time is he going to be able to save going up the gauntlet? Who's got the better execution here on out? That's all it is. I mean, we're not going to be checking any more chests along the way. Or are we?
I don't know. Chris could be looking for that bug net. And he can hope that the bug net's in the final chest in the game.
Currently, we may have to check one more chest yet, as it stands right now.
It looks like we are going to be... It looks like we're going to be checking what is commonly referred to as the validation chest. So the runs will be validated.
So they say.
So they say.
I thought killing Ganon was all the validation you needed.
No comment.
Okay.
Since both of them are climbing and we've discussed the chest, I just wanted to mention a donation here. Our friends at the Yeti have chimed in once again with $12,000 for charity. Their comment, Yoshis are animals, right? Well, it wouldn't be a GDQ event if I didn't restore balance to a race like that. So they have balanced out Safe Kill the Yoshis. Can't wait to watch Grand Pooh Bear Rex Super Dram World 2 with Sky Bills on commentary. It's going to be a good time. Don't miss it. Hummus. Thank you, Yeti.
I love you too.
I really hope that the mic picked up what they said, because otherwise everyone at home is just going to hear Willard just closely get to the mic. I love you too.
You know, I really kind of feel left out that both of you have said it now, so I love you too.
A lot of love in this community, no doubt about that.
I love you too.
Thank you. All right, so Andy getting through the gauntlet there. Chris still in the thick of it, having some trouble, but he's going to get through all right.
It looked like he was trying to preserve his magic. He does have half magic and opting to use the hammer instead of using the fire rod.
Soft lock. Come on, Andy.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Soft lock.
It's not going to happen.
Come on, buddy.
Wait for it. No.
Dang.
No, he's fine.
So that door to get into the room with that staircase Andy just went up, if one torch goes out, and that door closes on the exact same moment that you go up the staircase in the middle of the room, every single sprite in the game despawns, which means there's no Moldorm, which means there's no validation chest, which means not only can normal people not get across the gap, because there's nothing to hookshot, but also no validator.
Moldorm was giving him a chance there.
And the runners have been informed they will be validated.
Oh, he did it anyway. You know he was going to do that.
Have you guys ever thought about how cool Andy is? Holy moly. Right? He is so cool. All right, so we're coming up on Aghanim 2 here. Andy using the bug net.
Ooh.
Magical.
There's one.
The only problem with using the bug net here is that it takes forever for the bug net to go around, whereas the hammer is very quick comparatively.
Well, that's 3. We're halfway there.
Oh, man.
Surprised he's not using the bug net dash. It's always hilarious to see. Oh, there's a double, which is impressive only in this mode.
So, we haven't really talked about it too much, but the race isn't over yet.
Oh, absolutely not.
Ganon without a sword is one of the most ridiculous, stupid things. I don't think Chris was too happy with that.
Well, I think the first iteration, we honestly were going to just put a sword in that last chest in the game.
Oh.
And then we said, well, why? Let's just make it so you can use the hammer to kill Ganon.
Ganon saying something a little morbid there at the beginning.
And of course, a hammer basically works like a tempered sword, which,
24
24
tempered sword slashes.
Oh, wow. And taking advantage of that top right spawn, that's like the perfect place for him to be. Did he get it? Did he get the 12?
It's 24.
It's 12 and 12. 12 plus 12, 24.
Yep,
I
he is
don't think that's,
three.
no, that's not right.
That's not
Check your math again.
Christos is getting kind of unlucky with the third Aghanim energy ball.
Yeah, we're having to see the hammer strats on him, and it is definitely tougher.
Oh,
as opposed
it's
to having the
way...
Getting the angle right really is the tough part there.
Ooh, there's a double.
Nice double.
A much more impressive double from Chris.
No doubt. All right, 1 silver. Are we getting a double? There's a double.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
This could be it.
Oh, there he is. Sorry, Patty.
It is a sad, sad day here at AGDQ. Nah, that was a great race.
Yeah.
The Windfish.
Congratulations to Andy taking game 1.
Taking game 1 of the finals here.
Taking game
this
1
best
of
of
1.
3.
That was cute. You guys are adorable. All right, now that they can hear what I'm saying, I have to be a little more cognizant of that. Yeah, I bet you do. Oh.
Gotta wait it out.
I believe in his ability to dodge fire bats. I really do.
Oh.
Oh, you gotta be quicker than
That's swordless Ganon for you. Thank you for that, Patty.
I always keep my air horn with me. I'm just so glad that someone died. I've been waiting to do that forever. Oh, there's
This is a really good
right
spot.
there.
Yeah.
Getting that nice lineup that just will constantly knock you right back against the wall.
If
Not
you
left or right.
If you notice there, he actually sat there for a second. That's because the separate phases of Ganon's attacks don't start until he starts twirling his trident. So there's no point in hitting him with a hammer.
Exactly.
Because he knew he was already done with that phase. Lots and lots of tiny little things that you got to think about when playing this game.
Because at that point, it's just overkill for the first phase. But some people, at this point in the race, let's say it's like a 2.5-hour seed for you, and you're like, I just want to wail on him.
Just keep hitting him with it.
Just keep hitting him anyways. That's what most people do. So by this point, most people have been playing for 2.5 hours instead of an hour and 40 minutes. So they're a little frustrated.
Yeah.
I always liked how Ganon tells you where the silver arrows were in case you were like, oh yeah, I probably want to use those on you, don't I?
Pretty big deal.
Ooh, he got away.
Go for the silver list.
Sneaky piggy got away.
Do the silver list.
Oh, so close.
One more to go. Did he? Nope. Hammer.
When hammering up hitboxes, itty bitty.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
a big congrats to Andy for the win there. That was crazy, crazy good gameplay from both people.
GG, guys.
A big thank you to GDQ staff for letting Randomizer in, showcasing
Seriously.
a little bit of a different brand of speed gaming.
Definitely find the Discord. Come join us. Play some Randomizer.
Yeah, it's so fun just to sit down with all your buddies and
Speak up.
it's so fun just to sit down with all your buddies and do a rando race. It's super easy.
But yeah, so find us on Discord and come play Randomizer with us anytime you like. There's so many different randomizers out there that are fun to play. We'll see you all there soon. Thank you to our runners.
All right, and again, a huge congrats to both runners, especially Andy for winning. That's Andy and ChristosOwen. You can find them both on their Twitch channels. They're on screen. They play a lot of Randomizer. Oh, well, they're not on screen anymore, but Andy and ChristosOwen. And again, a big thank you to both of you guys for being here on commentary and letting me be on commentary.
Thank you, Patty.
VTorp, Willard J. Bradley. Willard J. Bradley. I'm Patty. And then, of course, our two trackers keeping track of the items the whole time.
Yeah, shouts to In the Name of DT and Philion, and as well, once again, to all the Randomizer community. Come play.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and stick around for more awesome speed games.
Yeah, one more time for our commentators and the trackers. And, of course, the runners. I mean, we already gave them a standing ovation here, though. But I am Prolix. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in here to Awesome Games Done Quick 2018 as we continue to gather your donations benefiting